Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I want to talk to you guys today about some book series that I hope to continue reading or start and complete in 2021. Now, the main reason I'm doing this is because I'm just wondering how hilarious it's going to be to come back around at the end of 2021 and see how much changed. Like, did I even read this many books? Did I swap them out with other things because I'm a total sucker? Like, I'm going to tell you here in a minute how some of these just jumped onto my TBR this year at the very last minute because I am such a sucker for peer pressure and I like to do things in groups. So before I get going anymore, on my last video, I had a lot of people message me and say, we want to see more weird hippie shit. Like in your introduction video, you said you were going to talk about other stuff. So I thought I would do something new. This is a book video for sure. But really quick, I just thought I'd show you guys the crystal that I'm carrying today. At the beginning of each day, I like to kind of like set my intentions for the day and pick a crystal to carry around in my pocket. We can do a video on crystals someday if you want, but first I just thought I'd show you this crystal. This is a palm stone, and so it has a nice weight when you carry it. I like the feeling of it in my hand, but it's also small enough and flat enough that it fits fine in a pocket. This is a piece of fluorite. Rainbow fluorite, and I chose it because it has a lot of really cool properties and energy that I like. So I just thought I'd show you my crystal. So anyway, I'm going to hold on to this for the rest of the video because that's just what I do. I walk around with rocks in my pocket. So anyway, I have the clipboard here and let's just get going. One thing that I'm really laughing at all is that I'm reading more series. When I first started reading books in 2019, I really just had a couple of series that I really wanted to catch up on because they seemed really iconic. I wanted to read The Wheel of Time. I wanted to read Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere. I had some books that I wanted to definitely get to, and then I really honestly, I said this to multiple people, I believed it, that I just wanted to get through some of these series that I'd heard about, but more than anything, I wanted to just stop reading new books and just reread what I knew that I already loved. And I really believed that. I thought I was going to do that. I thought I was just going to catch up on 4 or 5 cool series that were really popular, and then in order to just like not feel like I was constantly trying to catch up, I was just gonna stop. I was just gonna reread Game of Thrones and Wheel of Time forever, I guess. But that of course didn't happen because once I started getting plugged into book communities, there's no way. Like, I have too much FOMO in life. There's no way I was going to hear about all these amazing series and not read them. So 2021 was a year of me reading, 2020 was a year of me reading so many new things I never even knew about a year before that. And now here we are again with a whole list of books that I had never even heard of way back then when I was silly. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This isn't like a ranked thing, or it doesn't have a top 10. It's just books that I honestly really see myself reading soon. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to talk about some like little projects I'm doing. I am doing a Wheel of Time reread. I'm hosting it. And so I am going to read that series this year. I'm going to be reading the first 12 books. When I'm recording it, it's January, so we're reading The Eye of the World, but I brought this one to show you. This is the book 2 that we'll be reading in February, The Great Hunt. So I definitely plan on making my way back through Wheel of Time in 2021. The next is Malazan, and I left my sticker on there because I told you guys I was a bargain hunter, and I was just really proud that I got this beautiful trade paperback in really nice condition for only $2.98. Yay. But anyway, I am participating in the Malazan read-along in Mike's Book Reviews Discord, and this is book 2, and we're going to be reading it next month in February. So I have a lot of plans for February. You're about to find out. But we read book 1, Gardens of the Moon, this month, and I really like it. And I hear that they just keep getting better. So I'm really excited to continue on with Dead House Gates next month. Okay. Dresden Files. I picked up Changes just because it's the last physical book I own. I need to get the rest of them. But this is something that I worked my way through all of these Dresden books in 2020, and I got up to, I'm at the one past Changes, and I can't remember what that's called right now. It's called Ghost Story. I'm up through Ghost Story, so I need to continue with the Dresden Files, and I plan on knocking those out in the first couple months of the year, because I've heard that the point I'm at in the story, like the books are just fire from here on out, and I really want to get caught up so I have that sense of accomplishment. So I'm hoping to finish these up in the next 2 or 3 months probably. Okay, so I'm continuing on with series that I need to finish up. And this is one that has been, I feel like it's been looming over me for so long because I didn't mean to put it off this long. Oh, that's upside down. I didn't mean to put it off this long. I loved Red Rising, the first 3 books, Red Rising, Golden Sun, and Morning Star. I really liked them a lot. So there's, I don't know if it's like going to be a 6-book series or just like 2 trilogies that are just like butted up next to each other, but I haven't read past that first trilogy. There's Iron Gold, there's Dark Age, and I'm hoping that the 3rd book in this second half will be like, we'll get a release date in 2021. So I'm hoping maybe for a release date late spring, and then like a late summer, early fall release for that 3rd book. And if we get a plan for what that timeline looks like, then I'll probably just line these reads up to where it'll be relatively close to that new book release. But I've heard that it just gets darker and more intense, and he introduces new POV characters, and again, I feel terrible for putting it off so long because I genuinely loved Red Rising, those first 3 books. Okay, continuing on. This book right here, Howling Dark, is book 2 in the Sun Eater series. I read book 1, which is called Empire of Silence, back I believe in October or early November, and it was so good. It was so good. I say this and I hope it doesn't come off as negative, but I felt like that book felt like one really long prologue. Like, of course it was a story and things happened, but the whole time I was just like, this is setting up for something big. And sure enough, at the very end, it just left you hanging like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? I have to keep reading. And so I'm dying to get to this book, and I'll be reading it, I'm going to read it in February. I might read it first in February because I'm very excited to get to it. And this is book 2. Book 3 is out. Book 4 is coming. I think it's supposed to be 5 books, but please, I hope I'm not wrong saying that. Anyway, I think this is coming next or first in February because I'm very excited about finishing that story and just seeing where Christopher Rocchio is going to take it. Okay. Dune. I read Dune last year, and I loved it. It blew my mind. I loved the writing style. I loved the world that was created, and the story was just, I don't know, it was really interesting, really makes you stop and ponder. So I'm very excited to continue with Children of Dune. And then I don't know how far I'll go into the series because they have a reputation of definitely taking it a notch down in quality after Frank Herbert's son took over writing them. So I'm not sure how far I'll continue, but I definitely plan to read at least the first 5 or 6 books of the Dune series. And isn't that a beautiful cover also? It like feels really nice as well. This is a good book, good looking book. So anyway, yeah, I'm excited to keep going with this. Again, I'm not sure where this is at in my schedule because I don't really schedule myself out. I don't really make like a year-long prediction or anything like that. But I don't have it planned for January or February, but I'm super pumped to get back to it. I haven't decided yet, but part of me wants to reread Dune before I read this. Like, I'd like to just kind of maybe blow through them, starting with a Dune reread. So that's not in stone yet, but I'm thinking about it. Another series that I'm going to keep reading is I'm going to keep reading Star Wars books. I'm thinking after I finish Dresden Files, these will be my palate cleansers. I read just one, this one actually, the first one of the Thrawn trilogy. It's called Heir to the Empire. I read it back in December and it was so fun. I actually did the audiobook, and the audiobook was just a blast. I mean, it had like background noise. I've never done an audiobook. It wasn't true. I don't believe it's what they call, okay, I can't remember. They have a name for it, like a full cast. It wasn't like that. It had one narrator, but it was very cinematic. Like it had lightsaber sounds and blaster sounds, and you know, when stormtroopers were talking, it sounded like their voice was distorted and stuff. So it was definitely very cinematic, but it didn't have a full cast. I'm forgetting the word for what a full cast audiobook recording is called, but oh well. Anyway, this was fun and it just felt so nostalgic, and I can't wait to keep going. Once I get through with this trilogy, I don't know where I'll go next. I'm sure there's like a perfect way to read them, and so I will just Google that or something. But I'm excited to keep going through these as kind of my fun breaks in between between big books. Not that big books aren't fun, but you know what I mean. Okay, so that is everything for things that I've started but will keep reading. And now I'm going to get into new series. Rhaenyra, this is something I've had, whoa! This is something I've had, these are big, heavy books. I've had this on my radar for so long and I've just never like taken the plunge. This is a fantasy series, and these are like compilation books. Like, are they called omnibus when they're still lots of collections? I don't know, but these books have more than one book in them. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm excited to read these because I've heard that while it is a big fantasy story, you know, epic in scale in a lot of ways, that it does have a lighter feel to it because of some of the awesome friendships that are written and the witty banter between some of the characters. I've heard that they are fun reads. So, you know, it's a big story, big cast of characters, but really fun still. And so I'm hoping, I think with what I have coming, I'm gonna need to make sure to strategically weave in some lighter stuff, because a lot of what again, I don't want to call this lighter. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I have some, you know, I'm reading Malazan this year, and I'm rereading Wheel of Time, and you're gonna see some of these are, you know, pretty big series. So I wanted to have something that I've heard is fun. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I don't think it's light necessarily, but I do always hear that they're very, very fun. And like, I'm having a blast with Malazan so far, but it's not exactly what I'd call a fun book, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, here's where I'm talking about peer pressure. I had no plans to read the Farseer trilogy this year or any of Robin Hobb. I definitely on my radar, you know, I knew it was something I'd read eventually, but I didn't plan on reading it this year. But a bunch of my friends are reading it, and my friend Scott, who knows my taste pretty well, said, I'm 100% convinced that you're going to jive with this. It's going to be one of your top favorite series ever. And then the hook, they said this book has lovable animal companions, and I just can't resist. So I really wasn't planning on starting any more series at the beginning of the year. I was going to try to knock out, like I said, some of the stuff that I have piling up. But I'm a sucker, and I am going to be reading Robin Hobb's Farseer trilogy starting next. After I finish the book I'm on, I'll be starting Assassin's Apprentice, and I'm honestly very excited about it. Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna read it on Kindle, and I can't find my Kindle, so I don't have anything to show you, but I am excited for those. Okay, next up is Book of the Ancestor. It is Red Sister, Gray Sister, and Holy Sister. I've heard nothing. Honestly, I don't think I've known anybody to read these and not like them. I have not read Mark Lawrence before, but from what I understand about the way he writes books, I think I'm gonna click with his writing style really well. And I do know that these have some really cool, kick-ass female characters, which is always fun. as a female reader. So I am excited to read Book of the Ancestor this year. Again, I don't know when it's going to happen, but the year is long. I have plenty of time to get to all of these. Next up is I think this, yeah, War for the Rose Throne is what these are called. Priest of Bones, Priest of Lies. I don't know a ton about this series, but I know that John Gwynne, an author that I gush over, was gushing over these books when he did an interview. And ever since then, I was like, I gotta read those. I want to know what kind of things impress the people who impress me. And then since that interview, a lot of my friends have read this and I've heard some really good stuff about it. But it sounds really cool. A story of organized crime with shades of The Godfather. Okay, like that sounds awesome. This next series, I feel like I might be the only person in the world who hasn't read it yet. Poppy War, Dragon Republic, and I think the third book is called The Burning God, but most people just refer to the series as Poppy War, I believe. Another one, these are gorgeous books. They just feel so good in my hand. Guys, this is supposed to be like loosely based on history, like somewhat historical fiction, but mostly fiction, I think. And it has magic, and it's like Asian culture. I'm super excited. I've heard it's very dark. And it's been a while since I've read something truly grimdark, and I've heard that this is about as grimdark comes. So I think I'll be starting this one sooner rather than later because I've just been dying to see what, I don't want to say hype because sometimes hype doesn't sound good, but I want to see what the hype's about. Excuse me. Okay, this last one, I don't want to say it's embarrassing because you shouldn't be embarrassed to read anything. You should read what you want. But this isn't typically what I read. But I've heard so many good things about it that I just figured I'd give it a try, you guys. I have these books right here. They're called Blood and Ash is the name of the series. I have the first two. These are chunky. These are big boys. So I believe this is fantasy, but it is, it's more romantic. I don't want to call it YA because I don't think it is YA because I think it is very heavy in the adult content. I don't know that it's necessarily like fantasy erotica, but anyway, it's definitely going to be a spicier and steamier than things I typically read. But sometimes a little spice is good, right? So I've heard tons of good things about these books, and I know that there are a lot of fantasy books out there that have quite a bit more spice than what I'm used to, but I've heard that these are written really well. And we'll see. I'm not making any promises. I feel apprehensive, but everyone keeps asking me, have you read them? Have you read them? Have you read them? They're so good. They're so good. They're so good. So I'm going out on a limb. I'm trusting some people, but they're kind of like girl books, guys. So anyway, that's what I have. It felt like a lot when I wrote it all out, but honestly, going through them, I feel confident that I can nail that many books, right? Now, given I did not talk about the standalones I plan to read this year because I do have quite a few other books that aren't really part of series that I really want to read this year. So I think I got this. I think I'll probably slow down my reading a little from 2020, but I still think I'll be able to manage at least 4 books a month. So I think we got this, and I'm really excited for all the reading that is to come. So please tell me in the comments below, what are you planning to read this year? What do you think of my list? Is there anything that I should add? I shouldn't even ask that. Is there anything I should add? And do we have any crossovers? Are you planning on reading any of these? If so, when? Maybe we can read them together because I love a buddy read. So signing off. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.